Please welcome to the stage wife, mother, and professional golfer Candy Hannemann, joined by special guest moderator Lori Hiltz, CEO of Havas Media.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Candy, this is the good part. Okay. To my right and on your left, I have the privilege of speaking today with Candy, who I've gotten to know over the last couple of weeks. But to ground you all in reality, Candy is married to the CMO of the Boston Red Sox, Andy Grossman, correct?
Adam.
Adam.
Okay.
Andy's the other guy. And
it's the second.
The second, right? Mm-hmm. So we're very loyal Red Sox fans,
Mm-hmm.
and we're hoping for an amazing season. But I want you to talk a little bit about this amazing footwear.
I thought it would add to the props on the golf course. Unfortunately, I had an accident about 5.5 weeks ago working out. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm a golfer at the gym, and maybe that doesn't work out. That was my first sign that something wrong was going to happen. But I was doing jump ups, and I landed on my foot and broke a bone. So,
okay.
But next week I'm back on the golf course.
Hashtag
so
no filters. So, how many of you know Candy's story in this pursuit of a dream? If you Googled her, or I have studied her diligently for the last couple weeks, and this is an amazing story for all of you out there that can do anything at any time in your life. And I want to start back from something that I read about your husband Adam, that the most amazing day in his life was his wedding day in Rio. And why is Rio important to us? Because we as Havas Media advertise in the 2016 Summer Olympics, and you are pursuing the dream of representing Brazil as one of the two women golfers in the 2016 Olympics in your home country of
Brazil.
Rio
is my hometown. I was born and raised in Rio. My dad's German, my mom is Brazilian, and I was there. I lived in Rio until I was about 17 years old. It's where I started playing golf. It's dear to my heart, and it's the first time the Olympics is going to be in South America. It's never been. So it's such an honor, and the first time that golf is going to be in the Olympics. Actually, it was before. I think it's been a lot of years that it hasn't been, and it's making a comeback. So it's a really important time for golf in the Olympics. It's a really important time for Rio to showcase, our city and our people and what we love so much about it. And it's exciting time.
It's exciting time. It's exciting time for women. Right, if you think about this, and I think there were some comments earlier, and I know Sasha, some of the stuff that you echoed about men and men's kind of passion in traditional sports. Golf is very much a traditional male sport, and I want to talk a little bit about your success and your passion throughout your pathway of this. You're a graduate of Duke,
yeah,
which is unbelievable. As anybody knows, that. Just an incredible university and an incredible sports system there. Talk to us a little bit about how Duke happened and how in your success on the team in leading the victorious Duke Blue Devil, what do they call a Blue Devil woman?
They just call it a Blue Devil.
A Blue Devil. Okay. So can you share a little bit about that?
Well, I started playing golf in Brazil, and my dad introduced me. My mom really was the one that played. And we lived in a very small town for about 3 years, a small town in Brazil, and my dad, co-workers were all Americans, and they played golf, and my mom got into the game and introduced me to the sport. Well, I started playing, and then we moved back to Rio, where we were from, and my dad told me that started seeing that I was doing really well and knew that if I wanted to pursue it, since golf it's very small sport in Brazil, he really wanted me to be able to go overseas and see what the competition was like, and for me to have an experience in the States. And so I did that, and we would come every summer. I would play 5 events, and we would spend 6 weeks in the States, and then I would go back to school and play in Brazil. And then in '96,
I wasn't born. That's so long ago.
So in '96, after the Orange Bowl, which was an international event, somebody offered me, the IMG Academies offered me a scholarship.
Bradenton, right?
Yeah, in Bradenton. Offered me a scholarship to come to the States, to live there, and to play golf in the academy and train. And then they told me I had 3 days to decide. It was Christmas. And I was 16 years old, and I came back, and I was talking to my dad, and I was talking to my friends, and I remember this like it was yesterday. My best friend said, "Are you crazy? You're going to leave all your friends and your mom and your dad to go just to play golf somewhere else?" And I said, "Why not?"
I love it.
And I went, and the rest is kind of history. I went to Duke. Duke recruited me, and I was in between a couple of universities. I'm not going to name them. And my dad, and I was almost ready to commit to this other university, and he called me and he said, "You would be crazy not to go to Duke. You will thank me later in life. Just trust me." So I did.
Well, that's where you met your husband, Adam.
Yep.
That's right, and I love that. And obviously, it has given you an amazing infrastructure, and really reinforced your skills and your talent. So, talk a little bit about you. You finished Duke. You went on the tour, on the LPGA tour. And how many of you have actually been to an LPGA golf event? Can you raise your hands? Okay. So I want you all to remember Candy's name, because you're going to start following her, because we are going to spiritually and emotionally help her achieve her goal of making the Brazilian golf team. That is my goal, right? So now you were on the tour, doing very, very well, and life kind of happened, correct?
Yes, I was on the tour. I think I was on my 4th full year on tour, and I had a couple of top 10s and top 5s. I was leading at one event, and unfortunately didn't win. But things were going fine, and then I met my husband, now husband Adam. Through my through my former agent, and we met and we connected. And 3 months later, I was living in Boston, and about 2 months after I moved to Boston, my wrist started hurting. And long story short, I had 2 wrist surgeries, and I decided that it was the end of my career. That I was gonna be a mom, and I was gonna, live a normal life and enjoy the things that I didn't get to enjoy while being a golfer. There were so many sacrifices that were made, and I thought, and I was, not at peace with it, because I felt like I was robbed a little bit because of an injury. But I felt like it was the way that it was supposed to happen, and I was really happy that I had met Adam, because he gave me the confidence that I could do other things. So
amazing. So you marry Adam, and then Stella arrives.
Yeah.
And you still have this passion of golf. The wrists have healed a little bit. Now you're holding a baby, you're breastfeeding, and life is just happening, right? And all of a sudden, the talk of the 2016 Olympics. No
talk of 2016 Olympics yet. So I had Stella, and I was incredibly, I was fulfilled. I was really happy that I was a mother. I always wanted to be a mother. I was excited that I had the time to spend with her. And then I heard the news that the Olympics were coming to Rio. And I thought, and I talked to Adam about it. I said, how can I be involved? I'm like, I've been a part of golf in Brazil for so long. I feel like my whole life I've tried to represent this country in a sport that is so elitist in my country, and now this incredible event is coming to my city. How can I be a part of it? So I tried to call the International Golf Federation.
Did they answer?
They did.
Yes.
They responded, and I said, I'm X, Y, and Z, and I really would like to be a part of this. And they're like, oh, that's great, but you don't live in the country, and I'm so sorry, there is not really a space for you. So I called the PGA Tour. I had a couple friends, and again, they thought it was great that I wanted to be involved, but I'm so sorry, but we don't think there might be a spot for you in our team as of right now, but keep trying. So I knew my wrist was healed, and I said, why am I waiting for somebody to decide that I can be fit to be in this amazing event, You know, and I've never waited for anything, for somebody to determine whether I could do something or not in my life. And I've played a sport that was so black and white. Why don't I take, you know, charge in this and make my own faith and go back to it? And I was pregnant with Louisa.
Baby 2 happened. Are you tracking here? Husband, baby 1, baby 2, getting close to Summer Olympics.
Yep. And Adam's like, oh, I think it's great. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I told Adam, listen, I think I want to do this. I haven't played golf in 6 years. I'm pregnant. And I don't want to put the financial burden upon our family. I mean, golf is an expensive sport. You know, it's not a team that some of you get paid for all your travel.
Right.
And we finance all of that as athletes, as golfers. And I said, I'm not, you know, I don't know if I want to put that burden in our family. I told him, I was like, well, let's see how it comes. So I have in May a trip to Brazil. I don't know what I was doing there, but I was coming to the end of my trip, and I was planning on playing golf that Sunday, and I realized that I had miscalculated my flight. Well, in the 20-something years that I've played golf for a living, I've never missed a flight, ever. I missed my flight.
You missed your flight.
And I'm like, Dad, I just don't understand. And he said, well, you're not going to be able to leave for another 3 days. And I'm like, well, I wanted to get back. I wanted to get back home. So I was with Stella, and I was pregnant. I'm like, I just want to go home. And then I played golf. I said, I'm just going to go to Gavia, which is the country club that we play in Rio. And I'm going to go play golf. And one of my dearest friends, and I was telling him about the thoughts. I said, well, you know, maybe there are a couple other girls trying out, but I really feel good about it, and maybe I'm going to give it a try, but there's you know, I don't know if I'm going to have the opportunity to do it. Well, we finished playing, and it's so funny. There was a key person sitting down at the golf course restaurant. And Marinho, which is the guy I was playing golf with, sat down and told Arminio Fraga, which used to be the president of the central bank in Brazil, about my thoughts. And he calls me a week later and he said, don't worry about anything, go play golf and I'll back you up.
See, it's always the dudes with the money. See how this always works out? It's crazy, but I love that story. It's somewhat of a guardian angel.
Yeah, and if I would have never missed that flight, this never would have happened.
Well, I believe that's like a little whisper of God, right? A little that's happening. Okay, so fast forward a little bit, and let's talk a little bit about what it's going to take from a competitive nature, the systems, and really what I would call timing on all of this to actually see you on the multitude of screens in the summer. Can you talk a little bit about how it works?
Yeah. So how they determine who goes to the Olympics is all based on world rankings, and the way you accumulate world ranking points are through tournaments. And the higher the status of the tournament, or the field of the stronger the field of the tournament. So that means the better the players are, the more world ranking points you accomplish. But there are two things. You don't, unless you're playing in a limited field event, which means there is no cut, you don't earn world ranking points if you don't make the cut.
Right.
So LPGA is top 50. If you finish top 50 at a tournament, you make world ranking points. Symetra Tour, which is the access tour to the LPGA, is top 15. So starting in April, I'll be playing I usually do 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, 1 or 2 weeks off. Sometimes 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off because of the girls. It's hard being away from them, so I'll be playing as many tournaments as I can and a couple LPGA events to accumulate the points.
Right. So a little truth be said today that Adam and Stella and Louisa could not be here today because Candy is a stay-home mom. She doesn't have a nanny or an au pair to help at this point. So Adam had to go home to be with the girls so you could do your job today and share your amazing story with women and your dream and your pursuit of this. So I really admire that about you. So I want to talk now about what does it really take to be a high caliber professional athlete, pursuing an Olympic dream, a mom, and a wife. How do you prioritize? And talk to me about, you, because the dedication and the focus of golf is so immensely private and so immensely focused. Can you talk about this to the audience about how you manage all this?
Well, I think the most important thing for me in the past, couple months have been really laying out, and I talk to my sports psychologist a lot about this because it is a big dream and it is a big goal. And when I think of it, it's overwhelming. But what it takes to me is a roadmap. I try to think about it as a roadmap to where I want to get, and what do I need to do in order to get from point A to point B. And I really focus on that roadmap, and that roadmap to me with my teacher is laying out, okay, where am I right now, as a golfer? What do I need to do to get better? And I lay out my practice schedules. I only have, 2-3 hours to practice. As before, I had 8 hours to practice and all day. So how can I maximize that time? And I really do. I write down my practice schedule. So when I'm on the course, every single shot I hit and every single putt I practice really emulates what I do out there on the golf course. Because otherwise, as a golfer, I feel like it's a waste of time to do something just for the sake of doing it. It really has, every single shot has to have a real purpose. And I think that's how I've managed to maximize my time when I'm on the golf course. And then the same thing on the gym. So it's rare the occasion that I go out there without a plan of what my day is going to look like, what my practice is going to look like, and what I want to accomplish within that practice schedule. And that's become really important to me in this journey.
So plan the work the plan, and always kind of have your eyes on the prize.
Yeah.
So,
but you have to focus on all the little things.
How often do you see the sports psychologist?
I talk to her a lot.
Okay.
For a lot of different reasons other than golf.
Well, isn't life a sport?
Yes,
if you think about it, right?
Absolutely. So I talk to her about once a week. And I think we try to reassess what I did that week and what I accomplished and how can I make that next week better.
That's great. So when I was speaking with Candy over the last week, I was testing you on some questions. And I thought it'd be very good for some of you to hear some of the other side and some of to dimensionalize you a little bit about what it's really like for you. So if you were scheduling a foursome of golf, let's say it at TPC Boston tomorrow, who would be the other 3 players in your foursome?
Julie Inkster, Ferrandy, and Peppa Pig, because my daughter would be so psyched that I played golf with Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig.
Yeah, it's a cartoon.
Peppa Pig. Okay. Olivia, isn't that a pig?
Yeah, that's a pig.
That's a pig.
Yeah, but she's really into Peppa.
Okay. I was sharing with Candy one of my favorite books is from an author named Paul Arden, and it says, it's not how good you are, it's how good you're going to be, right? So if you were dreaming right now, and we're in Rio, and have you won a medal?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a gold?
Possibly.
There we go. See, we're saying, okay. So what's your favorite book?
I don't have time to read at the moment, so the books that I read are children books to my kids. So a favorite's The Giving Tree right now.
Okay, that's great. Who was your coach at Duke, and where is he or she now?
My coach was Dan Brooks. He was an amazing coach, and he's still at Duke, winning national championships, and he was really influential.
Okay, so this is #NoFilter. And you see this immense audience here, and I don't know how many golfers are actually here, but what would be your advice to young women in business about the game of golf, and how do you actually get started in the game of golf?
I think I mean, the first thing you get started is to actually go and try to play golf. I mean, that's, the first, I don't think it matters what level you're at as a golfer in order to be able to enjoy the game of golf. The game of golf is so much more than just the ability to hit a golf ball. What I've loved the most about my journey are the people that I've met. I've met incredible people regardless of their status in their companies. And what I've enjoyed the most are sharing those stories and hearing their stories. And I think that's what the game of golf gives to people, is being able to connect with one another and to share stories and truly to connect in a level that you don't get to do in a business meeting. And I feel like so many men use golf as a network, and why do women shy away from that as much as men? And I think it's a great way. It's a way that I've found to connect to people, and I hope that more women and more people can find that in golf in order to connect with other people.
So we have a few minutes left. When we were talking about a normal day in your life, do you use technology at all in teaching and learning with golf?
Absolutely. So my teacher lives in Houston, my golf teacher, and a lot of the times technology has come such a long way for golfers, and using your phone. A lot of times when I have a bad day on the course, or when I'm feeling uneasy about something, I just wish she was right there, and with FaceTime or with we do that, and he'll give me a lesson through FaceTime, and I'll put him my caddy on the range, and he'll film me, or he'll do real time of hitting, and we'll talk about my day, and we'll talk about what he thinks I need to work on. And when I was on tour prior to be on tour now, I was never able to do that, and it's incredible.
So I brought something along for you today, Candy, because you've inspired me in the privilege of speaking with you. So thank you, Kathy, for this time. But I made a call to some folks, and we want you to have this. This is from NBC. And we had it shipped here today, and we want you to hang this proudly in your house. Hopefully near Stella, because I see her golfing all the time, right? And know that the entire Boston community and the ad club is behind you 110%.
Thank you.
And that we hope to see you on the screen. And for some of you in this community, know that once Candy completes the Olympics this summer, she is going to be out in the community here volunteering and doing things. And I encourage you to get to know her. In fact, there was an amazing article that appeared in the New York Times that I know kind of changed your life a little bit. About the pictures are adorable, but it's about the day in the life of a mom, and that the mom is a career and the mom is a passion, and golf is really secondary to your love of your husband and your daughters. So we wish you the best. We believe in you. I think you've heard some amazing speeches today of inspiration. # anything is possible. And if there's anything else that you want to share with the audience today before we leave?
I'm going to put this right next to when I was playing my last tournament. This gentleman came up to me, and he gave me a little plaque, and he said, "If it's meant to be, it's up to you." And I think that's a great motto to go by.
I love that. And one last thing you shared with me just before we leave. Talk to me about the gentleman on the golf course last night. You told the funny story about your 5-iron.
So on the tour there, when you're playing, there's protection and people can't really come close by for security reasons. And I've been playing a lot of tournaments on a mini tour now to get back into my status on the big tour, and there is no such thing. And I'm about to hit a 5-iron. This gentleman comes up to me and he goes, so what are you doing? What club are you going to hit? And I go up to him, I said, sir, there's no offense, and I'm so glad that you're here, but I don't go into your office and ask what you're doing with no permission, so please don't come into mine.
So I love that. So ladies, remember that, right? Anyway, Candy, great to chat with you.